Happy New Year to all our investors at ABSLAMC Mutual Fund, and my fellow colleagues and employees and fellow citizens. I am sure the year 2022 is going to be a year of happiness, is going to be a year of high growth, is also going to be a year of full of action in a broader sense on the economic activities picking up. So the year gone by, 2021, was of course a quite mixed year, one from the economy point of view, second from the stock market point of view. Stock market of course did exceedingly well, interest rates remains low, and all sectors were actually participating in the equity market, mainly generating a huge amount of wealth for the investors, for all those who came in the last year, also for all those who have been investing in mutual fund for many number of years. Also the year 2021 is a year where there has been an increased level of participation in the capital market assets, especially in equity, coming from millennials, as well as the people who have never made investments in equity, also made investments in the year 2021. So the index touched all-time high, though we are seeing some correction in the recent past. Well, having said that, the index touched a new high in the year 2021. That it's a reflection of one, the hope, the optimism, and also the growth coming back. Market sentiment is of course the way the market behaved last year on expectations. This year too, the expectation of course getting built on the other way around. I think since the time the pandemic hit the world in the year 2020, central banks globally became very aggressive in pumping in liquidity. Of course, having pumped in liquidity, having driven the market sentiment and trying to bring back the growth, then naturally the reverse process also has to happen. And today most of the federal bank governors are debating about how to actually reverse the trend by way of taking the liquidity, especially at a time where the prices of commodities have been rising, therefore they're reflecting the inflation. But having said that, the Fed governors also have kept in mind clearly, is the growth coming back in a hurry, or the growth is going to come back in a gradual manner. On the basis of the point that I mentioned about the second point, that growth is going to come back in a gradual manner. Therefore, even the regulatory actions, especially the interest rates hike and other things, would happen gradually rather than one go. But definitely I think the Fed governors would prepare the market for any potential unwinding. Therefore, the 2022 we will see some bit of action coming from the central bankers globally with respect to the interest rates rising marginally. At the same time, wait for the growth to come back and wait for such confirmation to make the policy decisions even further tighter as we move forward. See, of course, Omicron is the third wave, probably I can call it. I think one of the things that been discovered and studied, or maybe as part of the discovery that's there in global market, while Omicron is something, if people are getting worried, is it something very serious or is something which is going to be mild? I think it looks like on the basis of the number of hospitalization compared to the first wave of pandemic or second wave of pandemic is substantially lower. Therefore, Omicron is something would probably in the system would remain as a fear, could remain as something could impact the health of the people. At the same time, the basis of various feedback that has come, on the basis of the high level of vaccination that every country has gone through, and of course globally the third production also is coming in the form of a booster shot also is coming in global market, especially in the global economy like US. I think all such put together, the Omicron could potentially create some kind of fear in the mind of people. Having lived in fear for the last 2.5 years, 2 years, it was bound to have some bit of fear in the mind of people. But having said that, it doesn't look like it's going to significantly damage the prospects of the economy as we move forward. See, volatile period is something is always there in the market. Sometimes the volatility, the density of volatility could vary from each year. It can vary. But having said that, when it comes to the question of investors putting their money, clearly asset allocation is a key. So one need to have reasonably good exposure to equity, given the fact that equity investment is made for creation of wealth and beating inflation, as well as build the future on the basis of the return that could be generated out of equity in the form of power of compounding. At the same time, fixed income also would remain one of the component of investment that actually gives a downside protection. But having said that, while these two asset classes, the dominant asset class in which every investor will put money, I think asset allocation will remain the key. Asset allocation doesn't change just because I'm getting into the new year of 2022. It's going to remain the same whether it's 2022 or 2023. At the same time, the mutual funds, especially ABSLAMC mutual funds, have started offering fund of fund, which of course takes into account various the market cycles coming from the favorable outcome that is expected out of the large cap sectors, mid cap and small cap, various other sectors. At the same time, the market overall outlook that one has got, on the base of which fund of fund also allocate money to various schemes covering equity and covering hybrid debt funds, hybrid equity funds, hybrid debt funds, as well as the debt funds. Such kind of funds in the form of fund of fund could be one of the opportunity which investors can use during this volatile period. So I would like to conclude by wishing again each of our viewers and investors and other co-partners a great year ahead of 2022. I am sure the various steps that has been taken by the government, not just only in India, even globally, all of them actually are pointing towards the growth coming back. I think as the movements of people become normal, I would assume the economic growth also is a function of the normalcy that coming back. Therefore, I think year 2022, we can expect reasonably good growth coming back, supported by reasonably good earnings. At the end of the day, having seen a substantial return coming out of equity in the year 2020 as well as 2021, then naturally the expectation for 2022 have to be normalized in order to ensure that our expectations don't remain as we have seen in the last year or maybe in the last 2 years. In order to moderate our expectations, that something is extremely important to have a reasonably good happiness and satisfaction on your investments in mutual funds in the year 2022.